Good morning. Greg C, is this a beaver only show? Nobody's going to be here soon. It'll be me and Caleb Beaver. Hi, guys. Good morning, everybody. Sevon's finally traveling home. Was at Scottsdale, then he was in Newport, as you guys all know. Now, he's driving back. Kenneth, government couldn't figure out how to stage an alien encounter, so now we're getting planes crashed into each other. Wow. It's deep to kick off conspiracy hour. Standy, I hate travel days. Me too. With the act of traveling or like because I'm on the show. Souza, Glenn thinks whoever they are, they're late. Timekeeper. Or are we getting disc golf replay with Brian Friend? Greg, that's actually hilarious. What if instead of a live show, it was like you thought it was a live show and then it was just a premiere of like the best of? You know how they used to do the sitcoms back in the day? Like whenever they would just run out of shit, they would just like mesh together a handful of shows or something. That's what we'll do here. El Souza. Um, do you get okay? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that because Trump is in office now, and don't worry, we're not gonna go super political with this right away, but do you guys think that the shadow ban deal is over? And the reason why I ask is because on my Instagram, it could just be because I've been looking at way more of them, but I get fed a lot more of this like conspiracy theory stuff. Is the sound keep cutting in and out? All this stuff is fine on my end. We have tariffs to discuss. No, I was thinking like I keep getting fed a ton of conspiracy theory stuff on Instagram now, way more than I ever did before. Like a ton of it's been like 9/11 type stuff and like whatever, all the normal crap. Some of it's like way out there and you watch it and like you read some of the comments and you're like, you idiots actually think that this story that was told on Instagram here has any validity to it. And then there's some that you watch and you're like, huh, kind of makes you scratch your head. But I'm getting all of them and I wasn't getting a ton before. So I wonder if there's any changes that have happened within Meta. And secondly, I really hope there's some changes that happen within um, YouTube, especially after the last couple of shows we had. There was a lot of talk that probably goes against the community health guidelines. Billy Johnson, what's up with Saxon working for World Fitness Project? I remember him on here saying how much he loves CrossFit Inc. Yeah, everybody loves CrossFit. Everybody loves everything until they get a little money thrown at them, huh? I have no idea, but if you also looked at some of those Instagram posts or whatever, it said signed, but then I guess they came back and said he's gonna have a different role. So I don't know what that means. I do not know. Whitney, hi. How you doing? A cool picture with you and your sons. That's awesome. I got the X notification, but not YouTube. That's another thing too. Our notifications on YouTube, like I don't think they've worked ever. And especially lately they don't, which is crazy because if you look at my YouTube, like literally the search is like the Savon podcast is the top one. Obviously, I watch all the shows, I click it all the time, and I never, ever, ever get served any of these shows when they're live. Ever. Which is just crazy. Kenneth sounds fine. Just sounds fine. Don't listen to him. Okay. Olivia, the floodgates have opened. That's what I feel like too. It's like they're, but who knows? Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been watching more of it too. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell. I don't care about Greg C. I don't care about basketball, but Luca to the Lakers was a joke. John Sullivan, all the conspiracy theories turned out to be true. More than not, huh? Weird. Bob, what's up? What makes you think there are theories? Yeah, I don't know. I'm also really like open to whatever. Like some people get really upset about stuff. Like obviously the one thing we talk about all the time is a flat earth guy that we had on here who was like super aggressive and like thought we were just going to attack him the whole time. But everybody in the comments got really aggressive about the flat earth thing. Like I didn't think that guy, I didn't believe anything he was really saying, and I don't think the earth is flat, but I also don't get angry about it. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's funny when people get like super angry about it. Jonathan Ortega, what's up, dude? Can't he loves CrossFit and can he love CrossFit and work for the World Fitness project. Both can be true. Yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point. Jake, I saw your text come through. We get you scheduled up for the show, huh? That'll be exciting. Then I'll get to sit here and troll you like when you're on Gluten things. Flat Earth is literally Hitler. No one like that was where the conspiracy originated, was from him. Would definitely make more sense why people got more aggressive to it. They want mass hysteria, so we beg for AI to give us answers. Ooh. The most aggressive person on the Flat Earth show was Angry Dad Souza. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. You're probably correct. Hey, Jamie, what's up? Better late than never notification. Yeah, agreed. Okay, so I got a couple of them here for you. Oh, let's start with this one. I thought this was good. And I want to know what your guys' opinion on it. Do you like, obviously I believe in this, but I wonder if it's this isn't a conspiracy. Could be. But I wonder if it works for the female type as well. Here we go.
You know the best way to stop depression? Work your ass off. Work your ass off. You don't have time. You want to work so hard that you don't have time for depression. You know the best way to stop depression? Work your ass off.
Is it?
You don't have time.
Caleb, what's up, dude? I wonder, what do you guys think about that? Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sure they're stoked that you're here. It's not just me rambling. I was telling them, dude, I was like, I feel like, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like I've been getting served up like a ton of more conspiracy theory stuff on Instagram. And I don't know if it's just because I've been watching a lot more of it, or is like a shadow ban lifted.
There was something going on with Instagram for a while where their algorithm was like really trash. And because I would scroll through Instagram and like, you know how you can just go through the reel feed and it'll
Yeah.
just like serve stuffs that you would normally watch. Well, I would do that and it just wasn't, I didn't care about anything that was going on in that feed.
Yeah.
So I would go over to TikTok and it was like, whatever the algorithm is over at TikTok is nuts. You could just scroll that shit forever. And it's just
they got it
serving
dialed.
whatever it is. But then in the past, I don't know, let's say a couple weeks, I started going on Instagram more and the real feed is way different. Like I'm like it's got the hook. So I go in there pretty regularly. But yeah, I agree. It's a lot of the
Damn.
conspiracy stuff. It's a lot less like weird shit that I don't care about.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering what that was, if there was a change, or if I was just like perceiving it as a change. Oh, Standy.
100%.
Caleb to save the show. I think
Oh, stop. Standy
you
saves the show.
you and Sevon are the only one she doesn't like attack. Although
Standy.
I would say that she was very nice and watched at least some part of the talk I gave at the fire department. And I thought she was just going to totally just roast everything that I did. And she actually gave really great feedback that was extremely useful. So
well,
yeah,
good.
I was like, oh man, thanks for that.
Wow.
That's
Sandy's
cool.
actually a nice, good person, you know?
Be careful,
nice.
Don't say it too loud. She might start attacking you. She doesn't want everybody to know her secret.
All right.
So the Donald Trump thing about if you feel depressed or if you have anxiety, just work your ass off. You know, it's interesting because I do feel like the more time that I have that I do nothing, it definitely makes shit worse. Like I will run around all day and work like full long days, and I'm like, oh man, I just want to like sit or whatever. And then if I have a full Saturday, it's like a couple hours of it, and I'm just like, all right, this is boring. I just feel like I'm doing nothing. So I can imagine if you just had a ton of time like that, plus you were already dealing with some shit and life really wasn't going your way, that would just compound.
For sure. We talk about that sometimes in just in the school that we're in. We're basically there from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And when we have days that we're not there, or like long stints of time where we're not there for the whole day, all of us just feel real shitty about ourselves. We're like, damn, we have to, like, everything kind of catches up, and then you realize like how much more you have to do, and then like, oh shit, I got to go back and I got to do some more. I got to take another test. I still have 10 more tests to do. Or we got to go there again. And we had a break for the snow that we got, and it shut down school for a week. And so all of us were just like, and all of us are by ourselves. We're not going to see each other in class every day. So unless you have family at home, like you're sitting in your dorm or in your RV, just fucking around, watching The Wire for hours and hours and hours. And then you're like, damn, this sucks a lot. And
Yeah.
you just go internal, and then you just fucking hate your life for a really long time. And then, but then once you start getting back into like you said, if you're busy again, we started getting really busy again, working long days. And so we stopped thinking about it, and it makes things so much easier, so much easier.
Yeah, that's the same exact thing. The same exact way I feel. It's like the more things that you have going on, the more it also gives you that sense of purpose, because you're like, oh shit, well, if I don't get these things done, or if I don't accomplish this, like, so and so is counting on me, or this next thing won't happen, or the people that I told I was going to do this, will they'll be like, oh yeah, you didn't finish. I got to do it for them, right? And
Right.
so like whatever it takes to just kind of keep you moving. Because then at the end of it, as you start to accomplish things, you start to feel better about yourself. You start to gain a sense of like purpose and accomplishment and contribution. And then that kind of propels it forward, as opposed to like you were saying the opposite. It's like the more you sit there and do nothing, that perpetuates, and then you don't feel like doing anything, and then you don't want to go out. The next thing you know, you have depression and anxiety.
Hey, Standy, I did go to the beach. Okay. It's right there. I can throw you in the water from where I'm sitting right now if I wanted to.
Oh, Pat Lang. I just watched the Buttery Rose video on the daughters. I mean, Sevon totally overreacted to Annie's response to not doing the open. I was expecting her to say, don't do it ever again. Not even close. But she still said it, though.
Yeah.
So are you commenting on Sevon's reaction of of her saying it didn't fit the bill? Or are you saying she didn't say it at all? I didn't watch that. Did you watch that?
No, I just saw the clip that we were talking about basically, and it's not super good. It's like
Yeah.
she's built her entire like everything, all of it, like her entire career, all of her income comes from CrossFit, and then she's like, well, meh, I don't really feel like doing it anymore. It doesn't. I don't know. It's whatever. Like, oh,
Yeah. I
okay.
I watched Hiller did a live after the Kill Taylor show yesterday. And
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
I watched that, and like his the way he was kind of reacting to it, and I agreed with him. I was like, hey, look, like it wasn't like she totally bashed the games, but they're all kind of sitting on this moral high horse of like, oh, well, I just don't really agree with some of the decisions that were made. And since I don't agree with the decisions that are made, I'm not going to sign up. And it's kind of like, well, so what do you want? You just wanted Dave to be fired, ultimately, is what it comes down to. And then you guys all would have jumped on. And like, to me, it just is like super shallow thinking, because number one, again, we don't even really know what they want, what would appease them. And then number two, it's like, okay, you just wanted Dave removed. Is that like
Right.
the sense of accomplishment is like, yeah, we did it. We got him out of there. The guy who
Then
built
you were
the
gonna
whole entire
compete.
thing. Yeah.
Then like that was what's gonna solve the problem. It's like,
It,
I don't know. I disagree. I think there was also, I mean, we've kind of talked about this before, but there's kind of been just this growing disconnect between like what is CrossFit and what is the games. And I
mm,
don't think people understand like when I started doing CrossFit, it was for me to like play other sports. Like so I could play soccer better. I could kick footballs better, whatever it was I was doing in high school that required me to be athletic. And then it grew into, okay, now I'm preparing myself to be in the military. Okay, I need to be of service to my country because that's what I signed up to do, and I need to be as fit as possible to perform my job to the best of my ability. And that's CrossFit. That is like bread and that's it. And we just so happened to create an event that allows people to compete at a very high level and make money off of it. And they don't realize that anymore. Like you don't have to retire from like there's no retiring from CrossFit. So when I see people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to retire. I'm retiring from CrossFit." Like, what do you what happened? You just go to F45 or like you're gonna go to Orange Theory. Like you're not retiring from CrossFit. You're just no longer like you're just not gonna train that hard anymore. You're gonna
Yep.
do something else because that's the other thing is people. I've tried all sorts of other training programs, and every time I circle back to CrossFit. Every time, because you don't get anything. You don't get the same stimulus. You don't get the same reward, anything, than you do when you're doing CrossFit.
Yeah,
No
and it's
matter what.
funny. It's funny that you mentioned that. That's how you found it, because that was definitely how I found it too. I just wanted like to do the hardest like fitness program, so that way I was prepared for anything and everything.
Exactly.
And
It doesn't even matter how to be. Doesn't even matter what it is.
mhm.
It's like I want to climb on top of my RV so I can adjust my Starlink. I'm gonna do CrossFit.
Yep. Yep. And it's funny because the pitch that I give to the fire department too, I have to make that distinction. And I literally have to say at one point, just so we're all on the same page, I'm like, hey guys, when I talk about CrossFit, like I'm not teaching you how to do the fake pull-ups, quote unquote, that you said you see online. And they all kind of like have a giggle about it. I'm like, this is the best training program, and we're just gonna adapt it and package it to your guys' needs even more. And that was the thing. The program was always like adaptable, right? And so like nowhere in there does it say, hey, you need to have X amount of handstand push-ups a week, X amount of chest to bar pull-ups a week, X amount of muscle ups a week, X amount of handstand walking a week. Like it only starts to venture into that realm once you're doing it, because there are known elements in CrossFit competitions, and the known elements are you're going to have a lot of capacity in all those movements.
Hmm.
And as a firefighter, for you in the military, like, if you're walking upside down on your hands, something probably went pretty wrong. You know what I mean?
Very, very wrong. Very wrong.
And like, I'm not saying you still don't want to work on achieving that skill or working towards it as part of your fitness regimen. I'm just saying, like, the priority to have to add that in every single week to have a really high capacity in it becomes pretty low when you're talking about training for the military or the fire department or the
It's
police,
just a
whatever.
cool party trick. Like if you just want to do handstand walks across the high bay at your shop, like cool. Then you can show off to everybody, like, hey, look at this cool fucking skill I learned. But I never really cared to do any of that. I never learned how to do pistols. I never learned how to handstand walk. I don't really care, like
Pistols
I'm
suck.
like I don't. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, totally.
I
Hey,
run
and
them.
the
I run really far.
oh, he froze. Starlink, come back. Or did I freeze? Oh no. I can't tell who froze. Damn Starlink. There you go. Now you're back. Now you're
Back.
backish. Now you're backish. Okay. I was like, you're making a great point. Then you just like
Yeah.
stopped halfway through. I was like, no.
Sorry. If I can do a muscle up and I can do deadlift and I can do all those things adequately, I can carry weight for a long distance, whatever it is, like then I'm good.
Yeah. I like to use the I when I talk to any of the first responders that kind of shit on CrossFit, I say like, hey, I use the same thing with the handstand walk. I'm like, hey, how often have you pulled up on site or on scene and had to do a handstand walk? And they're like, never. And I'm like, okay, how often would you have to pull up on scene and want to have the confidence to know that if I could get my fingertips onto something, I could get on top of that object? They're like, yeah, that's valuable. Like, okay, so then
Right.
there you go. That's how we, determine what we're going to work on and why. The skill development is valuable, but the why and how much time you're going to put towards it is something that needs to be decided based off of your training protocols and what you're hoping to get out of it. Pat,
Right.
Souza, she and Katrin both gave CrossFit a tongue bath and then said they didn't like the way the games was handled. Therefore, won't sign up this year. That's it. That's not a hot take these days. Yeah, you're right. It's not a hot take, and it's pretty consistent with everything that cohort of people have been saying. Um, I don't know though. I feel there's a certain they should at least leave the house that they lived in clean when they leave it. I guess would be the analogy. It's like, we opened up the door, they got to party inside here. And inside here is a CrossFit space. They did really well. We put them up on a pedestal, and now that they're leaving, they're all like taking upper deckers and bouncing out.
Hmm.
And then they're being like, "Oh, but the house was dope, and we're stoked we got to live there." And then you look in the bathroom, you're like, "Why does it smell so bad in here? Oh, these guys left a fucking upper decker in my room."
Hmm. That's right. That's exactly what it
What
is.
what is we had a ton of these comments get through. Olivia, honestly, who gives a shit about the game's athletes, about the community and our affiliates? Yeah, it always has to come back to that. It always needs to remain the importance, and it needs to be outwardly shown. Like CrossFit from the top needs to make that very clear, which it seems like they're definitely making strides to do that now.
Mm-hmm. They're definitely. That's another thing that, I mean, not that Instagram is doing this at all. It's CrossFit proper, but the content that they've been putting out recently has been far and away better than what I've been seeing in the past, I don't year or two. It's been really nice. It's been pretty refreshing. I will
It
say
definitely has, and it seemed like you could really tell when the tide turned when they did the post with Rich and like
that.
the office
Yeah,
spoof, and then everything from there kind of seemed to be way more lighthearted. They didn't take themselves as seriously. Like they kind of
right.
like, yeah, they seem to get it a little bit more. And I'm gonna guess that that's at the hand of Jenna Haka. I would presume because
That's just awesome. You know, like, and you kind of take the piss out of them a little bit too, because they were talking shit about leaks and everything, and then they make one, and obviously now it gets everybody's making light of it now, and it's like, all right, cool, like, all good. Like, it's not like oh, but they said it, so we're not going to acknowledge that they said it, because we're going to release it 2 months from now after
yeah,
the open. Like, no, we're gonna, like, hey, this came out. Yes, it happened. Yes, this is a thing. There you go. Here's our announcement. That was pretty
yeah,
cool. That didn't
exactly.
need to be scheduled. You don't need to schedule that. You just do that. Just write it up, make the post. That's it.
And to be honest too, like if you really understand the media landscape of this space, to have Rich and Rory leak your thing, like gold mine. That's amazing, right?
Of all people,
Yeah.
100%,
It's not like you just had
100%.
me online doing it or something. I mean, you had Rich and Rory like leaking it. Like if there's two guys you want promoting your shit ahead of time and getting some buzz going, it's those two.
If there's anybody who's still a figurehead in CrossFit, it'd be Rich for sure. So if you have
Yeah.
him, like, you just, yeah, that's easy, man.
Let's see. I was gonna pull up maybe one more of these before I was gonna show this next clip here. Josh Bridges' CrossFit reel was badass. Okay, noted, Kenneth. Is it the newest one?
Yeah, I'll
We'll have
pull
to
it up
check it
for
out.
later. Yeah.
So I saw this and I thought it was kind of funny and it worked with what we were talking about here. It's like 7 things every kid needs to hear. Number 1, I love you. Number 2, I'm proud of you. Number 3, I'm sorry. And number 4, 5, 6, and 7 is
Squats this way. You put the bar on the back and you squat down, feet flat, like you're shitting over a hole. Like this. You keep your back straight up and down. 20 reps. We're going to do squats this way.
Squat fucking down like you're shitting over a hole. Dude, I fucking love that. That's probably one of my favorite clips. Whenever I was work out with somebody who doesn't squat normally, I go straight to that. Squat fucking down. It's so good. It's the best cue. What else do you need?
Dude,
Shit over a hole.
and it's funny too, because if you watch him, like his feet are flat, like he's at full range of motion, like the squat looks good. And it's like the most like aggressive and simplest way I've ever seen it like taught ever, like feet flat, sit your ass down.
And it's like these goth skater dudes that have like never done any of that shit in their lives, dude. What's crazy though is I feel like skaters usually have the best squat. Anytime I've seen they always squat so well, and they'll even do it on top of their boards. Like when my brother was skating when he was younger, he would just like ass to grass on a board riding down a hill somewhere. I was like, how did? He's like, I don't know. Like I just do that. It's crazy. It's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like some of the back in the day when I grew up, the athleticism of the skaters and stuff was insane, but all of them were like, we don't lift weights, like we're not jocks. Like there was this
Yeah.
whole like funny divide. And then at some point it like meshed and like the skaters also kind of became jocks. It was like they were united by shoes. Like the like jocks were always into like all their
Oh.
shoes, right? And then like as soon as like all these pro skaters started making their own shoes and there was all this other stuff, and there's no notoriety, like it was like kind of the middle ground all of a sudden. And then Nike
Mm.
B came in and like saw the trend, sponsored Nigel Houston, and the rest is history, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny how that culture like works when they were able to find like a middle ground and then build off of it, which is kind of funny.
It's that
Uh,
shoe culture, man.
RB, Souza King, kickflip. RB, what happened, dude? I didn't see you at the Bankhead Theater, bro. Thought you were gonna come down to the Small Business Mixer and watch us talk on stage. dude, we almost killed the mayor. We had this small business mixer where we brought in a ton of the businesses from the Tri-Valley, so the surrounding cities, Pleasanton and Dublin, as well as Livermore, and we brought it into the local Bankhead Theater here downtown. And we had this whole mixer where we had all the businesses booths out. We had this like Q&A thing. We gave away like a bunch of raffle prizes. Like we had some media stuff going down for the businesses so they could cut their, we could bring them like little cut reels of the event and give them to them to highlight each one of their businesses that were there. And then we went into the actual theater and we did a live show. And so we had this chick whose name is Faith. She's also the KKIQ like local radio like disc jockey girl.
Sick.
And yeah, and so she came out, she did this big announcement, and like we got this guy who had this freaking smoke machine. And he was like, "Oh, dude, it's professional. It's gonna just launch like 10 feet in the air and launch out. So as she calls you guys' names, like you could run out on stage and we'll launch the smoke." So like, okay, whatever. Well, the guy who was running it only heard like hit the button every time somebody gets announced. And that was supposed to end after myself, Jeremy, and Savannah, the three of us, do the local podcast. After we got announced out, the smoke thing was supposed to be done for the rest of the night. And so we go out there, we all give our little spiel, the talk to open it up. I introduced the mayor of Livermore. I'm like, all right, guys, and it's pretty funny because it's still just me up there. So I'm like, this is how we make our shit official up here. We got the mayor. Everybody kind of laughs. And so he goes to come out, right? And he's like walking out with his note card and everything. And the homeboy on the smoke thing just hits the button again. Boosh! The thing goes crazy. The mayor jumps like 10 feet. Like I do like a side duck because I wasn't expecting it. His note cards almost go like flying. And then he like hits the podium and he's like, whoa. And we're like, oh shit. We almost killed Mayor Marchand.
Just smoked out the mayor, dude. That's crazy.
Nuts. Yeah. And the guy hit the button a little bit too long. So then it blasted the smoke up into like where the projector was coming down for some of these people's slides. It was pretty funny. Almost topped the time I got a gig at the local. I was in high school. I was doing like a film video class. I got a gig at the local elementary school to go and like put together this like yearbook of the students in the classes and in the recess and at lunch and shit. So it was a group of us from the class that went to go and do it. And at the time I was making skate videos, as some of us know when I yelled at Taylor about that. At the time I was making skate videos, and so I used to burn them to DVDs. It's when it first came out. And I couldn't get it from the hi8, like from the computer to a DVD, but I could burn all the photos onto a VHS. And this was just like a revolving, like, you know, how they do with like the dogs where it's like, you will remember. Yeah, and it's just like showed up photos. Yeah, of just like really like sad dogs. Except for this was really sad elementary school kids or middle school kids. And so I took all the photos. We got it up. I could not get it to burn to the DVD. So I took it down to like this other like rent a video type place and realized that there was an issue because when I looked it up online versus when I got there, there was a whole lot of porn that they sold inside this place where they were like burning these videos. So maybe you can even tell where this story's going. Oh, no. So I had him burn the DVD and it just played on a loop, and it was just supposed to play for hours because they were going to take this and play it at the local like PTA meeting where they get a bunch of this stuff, right? And so they're just like, we just need to play for like 3 hours. So I get the DVD burned from that place. It was locally down here in Dublin, and I take it back over and I hand it in. I don't think much of it. Later on that night, I get a call from my dad, and he's like pretty pissed off, but he's like, hey. I'm like, what's up? He's like, was that a fucking joke or what? And he gets quiet. I'm like, was what a joke? And he's like, do you not realize what happened? And I kind of was like, no. And then all of a sudden his tone comes way down and he goes, oh shit, it was the guys that we had burned the DVD. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, dude, 2 hours after your thing when it just cut to porn.
No.
Yes. And he said they had these chicks like putting on bathing suits with whipped cream, and it just cut to like a scene of them doing that, like half of them rubbing each other with whipped cream, and like the people of the PTA like freaked out and like hit the thing, and my dad and mom got crazy fucking embarrassed because they knew it was like us in our group that did it. Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh shit, dude.
It was wild. I was like a sophomore in high school.
Oh, God. It was pretty funny. Legendary after that, man.
Yeah, I didn't get hired for any more jobs.
No way. That's crazy.
Anyways, put it up. Yeah, There's a Standy. Wow, crazy. Yeah, Standy. I know you fucking love my stories, don't you? Don't
I want to
you?
hear some of Sandy's stories. I feel like she's got some crazy ones.
She ain't got shit. We all know it.
I swear,
She
dude. I
ain't
heard
got
some shit. I heard some shit. I think she gets pretty crazy. She gets a little crazy.
Yeah, right. All right, Standy, we'll interview you on my show. You want to come on and talk? All right, is this the real? Is this the real?
This is the Josh Bridges reel.
Josh Bridges under the lights does it again.
In 2011, I decided to take a shot and gamble. I had never competed at any other CrossFit event, and it turned out pretty okay for me. So anyone that's interested or thinking about signing for the CrossFit Open should definitely sign up for the CrossFit Open. You just never know what might come of it. You should challenge yourself. You should put yourself in uncomfortable situations. You should push yourself, test yourself. So why not put yourself in a situation like the CrossFit Open where you know you're going to do all of those things? So go do it. And then don't forget to pay the man.
Goodness, he loves being here at nighttime under the lights. He gets supercharged.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, that was cool.
I love a good Josh Bridges reel.
Dude, he's the man. And he pays the man too. Souza, anybody tell you look like Rick McCrank?
The fuck is that? All right. Let's find
No, but somebody did comment back to me on a Craig Ritchie video one time and compared me to a southern like racist mayor back in the 60s.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I got to go back and find it. Oh, all right. I do remember that skater now, though, for sure.
Yeah, I can see it. A little resemblance.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
There was the oh fuck, what was the guy? I forget the name now. Richard Benson.
The guy.
It was like a
Virgin
famous. No. It was like an actor in the Robbie Benson in the 70s or 60s. When I had long hair, like really long hair, and worked at the restaurant. I literally got it like once a day, dude. And then when I looked him up on Google, I was like, holy shit. There's this one where he's like shirtless playing a guitar. I was like, wait a minute. I look exactly like that fucker.
Is that me? Wait a minute.
Brothers from another mother's?
Who's mother's?
Right, edgy. Christine, no, I do not still have that video. That would be crazy though. But I do really want to find a couple of the old skate videos.
That'd be wild.
Dude, we have a couple.
That'd be like pulling up our house on putting that on the channel. That'd be sick.
We have full length, like we made like 2 like full length skate videos, like with intros, and then like a whole like everybody has their own part, and then there was like a friend's part, and there was like segments in between parts of just us doing fucking dumb shit. Like, yeah, it would be like somebody's skate video would end, and there would be like some shitty fade song, and then it would just like cut, and then it's like jump cuts to like somebody jumping off a fence into a tree. You know, it's like the Jackass days. So it's just like the dumbest shit ever.
Those are the best though, because you could just that was like the original like, hey, we're degenerates online kind of thing. Those are fun to watch.
Yeah, and you thought you were cool somehow because people are like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Oh, this guy's gonna climb up that 10-foot fence and jump into a tree." What?
We're trying to get sponsors, dude.
Oh shit! Have you seen this yet?
I have not.
All right, cool. Well, I'll just play it as is with no context, and we'll talk.
Last week, we're talking on the show, and Julian point blank asked me, "Are you going to sign up for the Open?" So, like 30 minutes after, I get a text from my old pal and my old boss, Dave. "Heard you advertised you're not doing the Open. Ouch." I said, "I'll sign up and do it if there's a leaderboard that is just me versus you."
Let's do it. The challenge is 100% accepted.
What the hell?
Yeah. That just popped up last night, and I was like, wait a minute. And I think they did a live or something with them. I've watched quite a few of Miranda and Julian's live because she used to do it at like 9 a.m. like in her car. Yeah, and it was like great timing when I was either coming back from the fire department or finishing up at the gym in the morning. So I'd always just throw it on and listen and stuff. And but I think they've been doing it quite frequently now. I'm sure Christine's in here. She could tell. She probably knows.
What was it called?
Word on the Street
Word on the Street.
with Julian and Miranda. That's very clever. Word on the Street with street parking. God, I think of some clever shit like that.
Smart, dude. Dang, they're good.
Brianna, that girl is so pretty. Yeah, she is.
Miranda?
What about Christopher Mintz? He could play young Souza in the Sevon movie. Man, what do you guys think about a fucking documentary on CrossFit? Like an origin story documentary.
Like the whole thing?
The whole thing leading up right to the sell of CrossFit. So like from inception to like 2020.
That would be pretty insane. That would be like, yeah, no, I don't know how to explain it, but it would be pretty sick. It'd be like watching like the Social Network, except like if it was all of like all original footage. Like you just have all of the original footage from everything beginning to end, when Greg started the company to when he sold it. That would be pretty sick.
Dude, it could be like I didn't watch Yellowstone, so I'm just gonna make this reference blindly. It'd be like a Yellowstone of the fitness world, you know, all the drama and all the side stories. And like, what would be crazy is all of those people are still like alive, right? So you could go and talk to all of them from the get-go, even people that Greg interacted with really early on, and you could do interviews. And then to what you're saying, you could have these jump cuts to like the actual footage from the early 2000s and shit like that. And how all these stories like weave and like, you know, the different characters. So you bring like Rob Wolf in and like show it as he like rises, and then have like do an interview with him on his like perception of what happened, right?
Yeah.
And so, dude, you could do so many things like that, to the whole unbuyable thing. When Greg
Black
almost
Box comment.
Dude, all of it. Yeah.
Hmm.
And dude, almost like Pal Peralta, like if you watch like kind of the history of skateboarding, they did a really good job with that documentary, like just the style that it was and shit like that. Yeah, mini docu-series. Yeah.
It'd be like
had to be a season.
Feel like you could do seasons of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been what, 20 years since?
Yeah.
Oh,
dude. It would be crazy.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
They did a live, but it was only a few minutes. Oh, that was the one with Dave. Yeah, he would be. I'm surprised they pinned him down for that too. Open diabetes. Joined only because the title said Savon's not here. I put that title in for my own insecurities, Mike. So that way, when people come, they just see right away at the headline that he's not here.
Do I care to watch this or not?
I can't take another one to stand. He's like, oh shit, it's just Souza. I'm out of here.
What more do you want from me? Do you want a show or not? Fuck you.
Jesse crying. All right. Have you seen, because where was Kenneth's thing? Kenneth said enough of the CrossFit BS, back to the conspiracy theories. Okay, so we'll come back to the conspiracy theories. Have you guys seen this shit? This one, so I haven't looked into any of it at all, but I want the show. Our interview?
She wants this show. She wants the show. She's giving you reassurance, I think, Souza.
Oh, okay. That seems like a trap. Right when I'm like, thanks,
take it at face value, okay?
Riding on my high horse, and then she'll just come back around and slap my ass down.
That's right.
So there was a recent Joe Rogan episode. I didn't watch the episode, and I can't remember the guest, but I watched a clip. And within the clip, they talked about these books that were written. And apparently these books like lay out shit that has happened in the future. And one of them was written by that Nazi scientist turned NASA head of NASA, von Braun or something, whoever it was. And yes. And so do you know what I'm talking about now?
I think so, vaguely.
Okay. So we're gonna play this, and then yeah, we'll just go from there. I just want to get you guys' perspectives on this.
Authors over the last 100 years have seemingly been able to accurately predict the future. I mean, I'm sure you guys have already heard of Baron Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, and The Last President, written by Ingersoll Lockwood. Both of those books seem to be, But have you ever heard of the novel Futility, written in 1898? Which coincidentally is also the same year that The Last President was written. So Futility is about the biggest ship in the world sinking in the Atlantic after hitting an iceberg. Of course, the Titanic happened in 1912. But wouldn't it be crazy if the full title of the novel was Futility, the Wreck of the Titan? 2 letters off. Moving on, this is a book by Warner von Braun, The Mars Project, very famous sci-fi novel written back in the 40s, 1940. It details Earth's first mission to Mars to try and colonize it. Guess what the main character's name is? Elon, bro. Elon. And no, his father did not name him after the book, which makes it even weirder. Are these Easter eggs in the simulation? Wouldn't it be crazy?
Oh shit, dude.
A little bit. So in the Joe Rogan clip, they go a little bit more like deeper into that the Elon book. And inside that, when I was listening to the clip, they were like, yeah, this guy is like gonna go over and land on Mars and like start this whole civilization. His name was Elon. And he's gonna be helped by a guy named Don. And apparently, yeah,
Really?
and apparently it was like Elon's dad's like one of his like whatever favorite books or something, and that's who Elon was like named after. But then it was saying that was never confirmed that he was named after that book. But like in the Rogan clip and on that episode, they basically talk about like, okay, let's say it is true that was his dad's favorite book and he did name Elon after that character. Like, what in the world are the chances that then that fucking kid comes out to be this Elon guy?
100 years ago.
Yep.
That's weird.
Kind of weird.
Is that how long have we been thinking about going to Mars? We hadn't even gone to the moon, right?
It's the 40s.
That's weird, man.
Yep.
I don't like it. I'm starting to think that flat Earth guy maybe had a point about the whole like time is a flat circle and shit doesn't make sense and everything's told to us by somebody else.
Mitchapalooza, think time travelers. Mike McCaskey, confirmation bias. See, that's okay. So I'm leaning a little bit towards Mike's side, maybe because for my own comfort, whatever. But yeah, it's like one of these situations where like if there's this many random things happening in the world, like whatever the equation is, 7 billion people or something like that, right? What are the chances that somebody like makes some sort of coincidence way back and then years later it unfolds almost to a T in the sense of like the characters' names in the mission at large? Like, what are the chances of that occurring? Like, is it high? I mean, or is it not? Is there zero chance and it's all laid out like train tracks that we just can't see yet?
Somebody was telling me when I was in college, one of my roommates was telling me that there was like some theory about like nobody has an original thought ever. Like there's zero original thought. So when you see stuff like this, it kind of makes you think like, okay, so everybody's been thinking about this whole time. And so ever since we knew about Mars, we're like, oh, somebody's going to colonize Mars. And so somebody's just been able to enact upon it. But then the whole name thing that's what trips me out.
That's what gets me.
You name the guy, the 4 letters, 3 letters, whatever it is. And you're like, okay, this is weird.
It's very strange. The Titan book, coincidence is wild. And that's what I think too. So like if you were to take that book, right, and you were to say the human being that's writing that book is trying to imagine like this really big piece of technology and like how this stuff could go wrong. At that time with their perception, they might be thinking like this massive ship that could take, thousands of people, right? But then it ends up hitting this iceberg. So you could see how like there might be somebody who's looking into the future of what could be and then a catastrophe that could happen. So that one doesn't get me as much as the trip to Mars ones does, just because of the specificity of the names. That's like another layer of, oh shit, as opposed to just the general idea of like, in the future, we're going to build this really big ship and it's going to crash. It's like, well, that's not, I don't feel like that's too hard just to randomly throw out in the dark.
The likelihood of us fucking up a ship at that point and because of icebergs probably was pretty high. But
probably.
You name it the Titan.
I don't know, man. That's where it gets a little weird. The the other thing to your point, Caleb, is like the power of like group thought. Like prayer has been around for forever, right? And essentially what that is like all the human beings focusing their energy or their thoughts around one singular action. And the thing that I always wonder is like, you know, the whole manifestation thing into each individual person. It's like, and Savon's talked about this a lot. Him and Haley used to do it until it got weird with like when they tried to manifest all that money. You know that whole story, right?
I remember the only thing I remember is Sevon always saying I'm a money magnet whenever he would pick up money.
Yeah,
I don't remember
that was part of his manifestation.
Okay.
So him and Haley used to do a thing, and there's probably more to the story, so he could correct the record. But the long and the short of it was they would like say, okay, what are we thinking about today? All right, I'm gonna manifest like a red sweater. And they'd be like, okay, red sweater. And then at some point, you know, during the day or within a short period of time, the red sweater would reveal itself. And so
Yes.
at one point, he's like, well, let's push the envelope here. Let's go after like $500,000 or whatever. And so they were doing it. And then that's when she got hit by that car.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to manifest shit after that, dude.
Well, it's like the genie situation, right? Like, what do you wish for? Like, oh, I wish for all the money in the world. And like, okay, here it is. But then the method of how you got it, you lost everything else in like seeking that, right? So you always have to, like, what is it? The saying goes like, be careful what you wish for. It just might come true.
Yeah.
And he said that like once that occurred, that like freaked him out or something, or they played like I'm sure he could tell the story. Someone can remind him of it and he'll give a better account.
Brianna has a crazy manifestation story, and I don't know if she wants me to tell it, but she told me a story one time about.
She wants me to tell it. I'm super interested.
I probably. I'm gonna wait for her to respond. I hope she says yes because it's a crazy story, and then she can correct me as I'm telling it. But when you have people like that, I mean, I don't really put much stock into that stuff. Okay, she says tell it. But when you have people who have experiences like that, you start to think like, okay, maybe there is a little bit of something that goes on about it. So her and her friends had planned, it was one of her friends' birthdays, and they were like, well, for weeks leading up to it, they were like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And the friend was just like, oh, I'm gonna party with Drake on my birthday. And mind you, they're not like nobodies, but like they're not people who hang out with Drake. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So they're like, no, seriously, like, what do you want for your birthday? And she's like, oh, we're gonna party with Drake. Like, obviously, we're gonna party with Drake. So they're like, all right, whatever. And so like the weeks go by, she still says the same shit over and over and over. Basically, her friends have not come up. Brianna and her friends have not come up with a way to party for her friend's birthday. Well, the day comes, and they're like, "What are you like? So what's the deal? Like, what are we gonna do?" And she's like, well, "We're gonna party with Drake." Okay, whatever. So the girl, the birthday girl, she calls up, I don't know, like an agent or somebody that does coordinating of things, and they're like, "Hey, we want to like go to a party. Can you get us into a party?" Because I guess I don't know what rich people do, but you have to be on a list, and somebody
that rich list.
Yeah, somebody like coordinates that list. A promoter. Thank you, Brianna.
Promoter. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, she knows.
So
it's the list. Though. I gotta get the list.
Yeah, you get on the list, and so she calls up this promoter, and the promoter's like, "Okay, well, go ahead and send me pictures of all the girls that want to come to this party." And so they send pictures of the 3 of them, the 4 of them, whatever. And the dude's like, "All right, cool, you guys are good. Like, the list. Here's the address. Just we'll come on over. Like you're on the list or whatever." So they call an Uber. They have no idea where this party is, like what's going on.
They're on the list though. That's all.
They're on the list,
though,
dude. Fuck you, dude.
That's all I need to hear.
Exactly. They're like,
let's roll.
Yeah, big old party, big party. And they get in the Uber, and the Uber's like, "Oh, are you going to? Oh, you guys are going to Drake's birthday party." And they're like, "What?" And he's like, the Uber driver's like, "Yeah, you. This is the address. I've been taking everybody to Drake's birthday party." And they're like, they all of them look at her friend and they're like, "What the fuck? What did you do? What did you do?" And so they pull up to this house, and sure enough, it's Drake's house, and it's Drake's birthday as well as the birthday girl's birthday. And they go in this house, and it's just insane, and it's Drake's birthday party. So they party with Drake at
No
Drake's house.
shit.
She manifested that shit. She's like, weeks in advance, I'm gonna do this.
Damn. That's fucking crazy. I also too, I wonder what that party was like. I bet you, Brianna, they make you put your cell phone in like a bag and like sign an NDA and like walk
Yeah.
you through a bunch of different rooms and shit.
That was just the most bizarre thing I've ever heard. I was like, there's absolutely no way you get to do that.
That's fucking, yeah, when shit like that happens, it's just crazy. Like, how does that come into play? Somebody said that, was it Kenneth? Manifestation is believing in the power of yourself. Prayer is believing in the power of the God, not the same. What if God instills the power within ourselves so that way we could take that power and put it out into the universe? What if it is the same?
Yeah, Brown just said she had to sign an NDA. Only have a picture from outside and in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. I've seen like the random like photos inside Drake's house, and it's just like this small little corner of a bathroom somewhere.
Yeah. Nobody wants to pull their phones out there.
Um,
And just so you guys fucking weirdos in here. Why is Caleb talking to Brianna so much? Does your wife know? Yes, my wife knows. I told her that story as well. She thought it was insane, just the same. So you fucking chill out. Me and my wife, we're fucking tight, okay? We've been together for 10 plus years. That shit ain't going nowhere. I put fucking super glue on that thing. We're good, man. We're so good.
The real thing is, the real situation is Caleb's clearly just trying to get into a Drake party. That's the real.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm trying to get into a Diddy party, dude. What are you talking about? Freaking, what's going on with my wife, dude? You think our shit wouldn't be so tight? My wife would let me come down here to Florida for a year on my own. Fuck off.
Oh my gosh. The manifestation thing is really weird because going back to the whole entire like group think, right? Like that alters reality. So like you have a bunch of people that all go, "Hey, Caleb's a witch," and then I say it, and people are like, "Nah, I don't really believe it." Then a second person comes up and is like, "Caleb's a witch," and everybody's like, "Dude, whatever." By the time 10 people get there and say Caleb's a witch, all of a sudden the reality has changed and you're a witch. And nothing has changed other than all of us having the same exact consensus thought.
That's right.
On you. But I wonder if the whole simulation, like this world's a simulation or different things like that. You've heard all the different like theories on your thoughts create different vibrations or different energies, and those energies attract or detract certain things within your life. And I think to a certain degree, all of us believe that that is 100% true, because if you get around a bunch of people in an environment where there's negative things happening, you're robbing and you're stealing or you're doing drugs, you know that that's just going to usher more of that on. And if you get around a bunch of people that are doing well, that are really determined to be successful in life and contribute to a lot of other people, and you get around that group, even if you're not like that inherently, you will start to become like that. So there's definitely something to it. And I think the thing is like understanding whether or not we have as much control over it we do. And clearly the next step from this is all of us manifesting us going to a Drake party, and somehow all the Sevenistas showing up at a Drake party, except for
you guys all want to go to a Drake party, okay?
Yeah, except for Olivia, Judy, and Standy, who want nothing to do with Drake.
That's fine, man. You guys got kids. You gotta have that dual income, no kids life. Once you guys lost that a long time ago.
You
know
what?
I'm here for the party, man. Just here for the party.
So this is gonna sound weird to our manifestation thing, but have you ever watched the old studio recordings of hits from like Kanye West and Jay-Z and Drake by any chance on YouTube?
I don't think so.
So I love like origin stories of stuff, like finding like the hit, like as it was being developed in the studio before anybody knew it was like this hit song, and you could like listen to it like kind of unfold. And like, you know, there's a really cool one with Pharrell and Kanye West when he did that song Through the Wire back before Kanye went fully off, and like you get to see him kind of develop the song and then play it for Pharrell for the first time, and like you could tell Pharrell's like, holy shit, this is going to be a hit. But it was funny because I was watching some of those last night randomly. It served it up on my YouTube, and it was the Drake song Trophies, which is kind of funny.
Oh
That
shit!
kind of led us to the Drake song now. And the reason why I told you that is because when rappers in particular get big, I hate the fucking persona. And Brianna, I know you hang around this cohort of people that like think they're so big at life that they wear their sunglasses inside and they speak like 2 fucking words whenever you talk to them.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yes.
And they're like, they're too cool for school. So everything's like, oh yeah. You're like, what the fuck are you saying? You're not even speaking English. Like, talk like a human.
Yes. And they
Present,
just
take
think
your
that it's
sunglasses off.
just supposed to be like catered to. And everybody is just supposed to know what that means and what they're saying. And like, there's supposed to be so much reading between the lines. And you're like, fuck, dude, you're a 5-year-old in a 35-year-old's body.
I cannot stand that shit. And it was funny. And the reason why I bring it up is because I was watching the Drake thing in studio, and he was not like that at all. Like,
really?
Yeah. This was like way before he was huge. I mean, he was on that show, whatever it was, like Degrassi or whatever. He was the homeboy in the wheelchair, like the fucking Canadian in the wheelchair, right? And then he ghost wrote for Lil Wayne. Yeah, and then the whole mixtape
culturally
thing
appropriated the wheelchair before it was a thing.
It's like, and now he's this fucking superstar gangster. Not really gangster. No one thinks he's gangster, but like superstar rapper, right? That like, I don't know. It's just funny that how that changes. I mean, not like I've met very many rappers, but the ones that I've seen online,
they're all so annoying.
One dude that I
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I forgot the dude's name. I was trying to. It's I want to say it's like Chance the Rapper, or who's the guy that has. Oh fuck. Never mind. I forgot his name. I'll figure it out.
I did meet one. This was like 2 years ago when I got to go to Summer League out in Las Vegas, where they do like it's like NBA but in the Summer League.
Summer League, yeah.
Anyways, I snuck myself into this like network thing, and then this dude was there, Simba, and I didn't really know too much about him, but chatted with him for a minute and like a couple of the guys that he was with, and then later was like somebody's like, oh yeah, that's that rapper Simba, he's blowing up, he's getting pretty big, and I was like, oh what? And then went and found him on here and like listened to a few of his things, and he's actually like, it's really cool. And this dude was fucking awesome. It was probably one of the only rappers I met, that was like, he was dope. Him and I were chatting for quite a bit on this at this like NBA like summer jam, whatever it was, league. It was like a networking opportunity, and this dude that worked at like an investment banking thing put it on, and I got put there because one of my members who is part of this big employee benefit corporation. It used to be called Felice, now it got bought out. It's called AccuSure, and she had an extra ticket. I was like, hey, do you want to roll to this? You might meet some cool people. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I specifically remember calling Sevon and being like, fuck, I underpacked and I wore these Vans and they have a hole in them, and I have to go to this networking thing and everybody's in like business casual suits. And he was like, oh. And then he stopped. He's like, you're in Vegas, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, just say you wear them because they're your lucky shoes. No one will question that.
Oh like, shit.
Like, oh, you're right. And so like literally like anytime I felt insecure, I'm like, yeah, my lucky shoes. You guys going gambling or what?
Nice, dude. What a swap. That's great.
Yeah, that's the creative genius of Sevon there. Okay. Do we want to hear how the Earth could be proven flat due to cables, or do we want to hear about the underwater?
Underwater.
All right. Here we go. Let me bring this up. Here we go. Underwater.
Things I had ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planet in the Gulf of Mexico. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute. I'm already underwater. We went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Coincidentally, a few days after this aired on the television that he had made this discovery, when him and his friend were flying the helicopter, it exploded and he died.
And it's gone.
So that's the water underwater.
What the hell?
Yeah.
We're not supposed to know about the underwater?
Jake figured it out. He discovered salt.
That's true.
David Weed is hawking it up to don't do drugs, kiddos. Okay. Olivia was into the underwater portion. That's it. Oh, Kenneth was too. Standy just said no.
Wow.
And typical. And then Brianna said that's so smart, referring, I think, to the lucky shoes.
That's why we like you, Brianna.
Yeah, I think we all just need to realize that in order to know everything, we have to understand that we know nothing at all. And like that's where I land with all this shit.
I just always, I don't know. I just try to always be open to like everything, anything that ever. I listened to that book that Sevon always recommends, the one with P.D. Ospensky. It's like The Man's Search for Meaning or something like that.
Viktor Van Frankl, yeah, Man's Search for Meaning.
And it was very interesting. A lot of it went over my head, and I'll probably have to like go back and listen to it again. But it was talking about like levels of consciousness and all this other shit. But I never really, I mean, it's kind of like hokey pokey shit. But it's like, why not? Why not subject yourself to that just to see maybe you learn something from it, you know, just to fucking go with it.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at too. Be open to proof too. I'm open to all of it. All of it. I'll take an explanation. It's salt. I mean, not that I'm buying totally into just it's salt from you in the comment section as to what's going on, but I'm also not buying that dude's story either. So just so we're on the same page, Jake. It's not.
It's like that guy on History Channel when they would do those aliens, the extraterrestrial shows, and the dude's just like really stony, looks aliens.
Yeah,
like, that's that guy, but underwater.
Underwater,
dude.
Lakes underwater.
There's a shoreline underwater, dude.
Olivia, don't open your butthole though. Good advice. I guess we should be open.
Okay, all right. Hey, okay. There's a line. There's always a line somewhere. Obviously, I think we found it.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so you're saying Man's Search for Meaning is hokey pokey? No. I don't think that was being said at all.
It was interesting. I don't know.
Not at all. Isn't there What's that?
I say just read it or listen to it. I listened to it on Audible. It was to put it at like 1.5 speed or something. It was good.
Yeah. It's that book's just a great perspective on like just having gratitude towards like your life actually doesn't suck. You know what I mean? Like you're not in a Jewish prison camp with you know, if you slow down you die, they kill you because your work's worthless and you haven't written your whole entire life's work like 3 times. Because it kept getting stolen and then destroyed. But the question then begs is like, what's the point of living if there's just so much suffering?
It's always that, right? Why bother doing anything? Fuck it. Just sit around, just lay around and hope to die.
And lay there to die. What do you think about sleep paralysis, Caleb?
I have no idea. I've heard people have it, but I don't really understand it. So I don't know. I haven't done much looking into that. I know people are like, I think people get like disability for that, like in the military. They're like, oh, you have, but it's really hard to prove it. So you just like, cause you just do a bunch of sleep studies and shit. I don't know.
Dude, I listened to that book, Why We Sleep, years back. And they talked about people with like extreme opposite ends of that. Like people that are awake, but can't wake up. Like the sleep paralysis thing. Or like extreme cases of narcolepsy where like mid-conversation something could like trigger whatever that is in their brain and then they're just like boom, they just like go down and sleep.
Yeah,
it was nuts like hearing about some of those cases, but the one that definitely freaked me out was that sleep paralysis because they had studies of people that they knew were alive had complete brain activity, everything when they did all the scans, but like just would not respond. And they were caught in like that sleep paralysis, but were very aware of everything that was going on around them.
Oh, that would, I don't fuck with that at all. I do
Yeah,
not.
dude.
It's like only a couple times have I been like stuck in a dream that I did not want to be stuck in. And I like, it wouldn't, my body would not, like, usually if I get stuck, if I have to start having a dream like that, my body's like, nope, we're awake now. We don't fuck with that. But sometimes you do, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm not going to sleep for the next 2 days.
Dude.
Okay.
Yeah. It's there was this family friend, I guess you could say, and she ended up taking a bunch of heroin and like passing out like in between kind of like the bathtub and like toilet, and it cut off a bunch of circulation
always
to her
that.
brain.
It's always that.
I know, right? It's like
It's always the bathtub and the toilet. They always get stuck between the bathtub and the toilet. Anyway.
And so she passed out and got stuck between that, and it left her like disabled in a couple of different ways. Like it messed with her ability to be able to walk. Now you also have to consider just the worn tornness of like the drug addiction as well too, right? But then there was like she basically was like mute. Like there wasn't a lot of like mental capacity there. So anyway, she started being taken care of by a couple of the other relatives in my family because she needed a full-time caretaker. And we all thought the whole time that there was kind of like nothing really going on, or like there wasn't like a lot of like understanding, or like how much does she actually understand, and like she was totally like non-communicative. And it wasn't until my grandmother's twin sister, my great Aunt Judy, I guess, after she passed away, that was the original like caretaker of this woman. And she always did Easter every time, like brought the whole family, always went to her house for Easter. And so my grandma hosted it the first year that her sister had passed. So we all went to my grandma's house to there. And so we wheeled her in as we normally do. And my grandmother went to go say a few words about her sister before we went into Easter dinner, and everybody stopped and like looked, and we were like, wait a minute. And Sandy's her name. Sandy was like crying in the wheelchair. And like right then we were like, wait, she's like aware.
She's there
of everything. This was like years back, but it was crazy. It was just like this pause of like, whoa, fuck, like how much is she actually taking in? And she understood what was happening here, and like she understood the context of the situation, and like how like it was it was
like how many, now you're thinking back to like how many times if I
talk
you
shit,
just like dumb shit, like you just talk to them like they're a 5-year-old. Do you want some water? Like just you're like, oh god, and that's like years of that's going on. You're like, fuck. I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
dude.
And then I mean, like, and they're just stuck there, and they can't do anything about it. They can't say anything about it. Like that, the madness that would just occur would just be brutal. Like, you ever watch $1 Million Baby?
Mm-mm.
It's like this girl becomes like a really good boxer. I can't remember the actress's name, but it has Clint Eastwood in it. And Clint Eastwood is like the coach for this girl she becomes this really insane boxer, blah, blah, blah. Goes into like a title fight with this other chick, and the other chick's just like brutal, just not just fighting dirty, all that shit. And then like the bell rings, and Clint Eastwood like puts the stool out for her to sit down. Well, her opponent like cold clocks her, and then she falls and breaks her neck on the stool, like after the bell. So she's like paralyzed from the neck down, all this other shit. And it, like, her being in that state just drives her to madness. And she's obviously like conscious and like is verbal and all that. So not the same as your family member, but like eventually the end of the movie is just her like trying to kill herself like in any way possible, because she's immobile, has no capability whatsoever. And you're just like, fuck, dude, that's like just being trapped in your own body is crazy. Like, did you ever hear about the guy who did like the first successful head transplant?
No.
He did it. It was like some Russian dude did a head transplant, and then the dude became conscious, and then he like went into like sheer mania and then offed himself because he couldn't handle like being in a different body. Like,
oh shit.
nuts. $1 Million Baby is a good movie though. I definitely recommend it. I just
All
ruined
right.
it, but it's a good movie.
That's okay. I'm fine. I could like bear. I could know all the shit to the movies and still be excited to watch it. Plus, two, usually that helps me out because I have such bad like ability to sit there and watch like full movies that if I know it's good and it's recommended and I can kind of anticipate parts that's coming, it actually holds my attention more. If that makes sense. It's not like you told me Sixth Sense he was dead at the end, you know. That would be a fucked up spoiler alert. All right, so we'll do the flat Earth one next. This is not a good look for flat Earthers. This is not a good look. I like to play along with this one. It's fun, but I'm not buying it at all. So we'll
really
I'll play this. Yeah, it just was like I don't know. Sometimes they give their, you know, quote unquote evidence. And then you're like, huh, wow, okay, that kind of made me like think a little bit. And then sometimes they do shit like this, and you're kind of like, okay.
The World Submarine Cables Map. I want you to think of South America as 1, Africa as 2, and Australia as 3. Notice how there is no cables from here to here or here to here. You might ask, why is that important? Here's why. The reason you will never see these cables connected is because look how far the distance is from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, and the vast distance from 1 to 3. But Ryan, what about these cables here? Oh yeah, you mean the short distance right here? But you might ask yourself, Ryan, why is that important? Over 99% of the world's internet traffic, including international phone calls and data transfers, rely on cables. Not satellites, cables. Y'all, pull up any map of sea cables and you will see that none of these touch. Because we live on a flat, geocentric plane.
All right.
Oh shit. Oh shit, dude.
Wow. Fucking convinced.
How do I get Starlink? How do I get the internet?
Kenneth's got it right here. Guy has a degree in Google Science.
Hey man, that Google AI response you get nowadays is pretty fucking accurate. Every time I use it, it's spot on. I promise. I promise.
Oh, Joseph Ramirez, man, cocaine is hell of a drug. It's funny that you mentioned that because now I could just picture that dude like ripping a line and then getting up and being like, oh, fuck, dude, look at the cables, bro. They're not connected down there.
Look at the distance. It's so far. There's no way.
Harvest CrossFit. We could put that one to rest. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it seems legit, man. I totally got to be open to it. You never know. Could be right.
Let's see. Oh, this one. Okay. This is gonna this will take us completely off our conspiracy thing for a moment, but I think it's good. Gravity is fake too. Sure. Flat Earth is bullshit. The Flat Earth guy Savon had on didn't even convince me one bit. You watched that back then, Standy?
Dude, that was nuts. I think that's the longest show we've ever done. And it like gave me anxiety.
Yeah, he was.
Like,
do you remember how aggressive he was?
Wildly aggressive. Wildly aggressive.
Right off the bat. And then I remember I forget exactly what the question like Sevon had asked them or something, but it was just a general like blanket question. And the dude was like, he's all, well, that's the most ignorant question of the night. It's like, excuse me, flat Earth guy. We asked you a question and we're the most ignorant ones here.
Yes.
Like, come on, dude.
At one point, Sevon was like, hey, do you have any kids? And he's like, why do you need to know? What's wrong? What's the deal? What do you want to know about my kids? What do you want to know? Do I have kids? I don't know if I have kids. Do you have kids? I don't know. What do you care if I have kids or not? And you're like, dude, I don't know. I'm just trying to compare something, you know? I just wanted to like, I get it. Whatever. He wants to be super secret fucking flat Earth guy because the government's coming after him.
And then he had like these cronies, like these fucking groupies, dude. Because so after he got off the show, like he left and like we were like chatting about it afterwards. I was like, holy Adderall or like whatever I said, like commenting on the fact that he was just like, like couldn't even get a word in edgewise, right? Oh. Even when, and if Daniel's still in the chat, he'll remember like everybody was just bashing this dude before we got started. And I was like, hey, like quit fucking bashing him. Like, let us go through this show and like be nice in the comments for a moment.
Sure.
And I had said that comment about it afterwards, and we talked about him, dude. Like 6 months later, 2 or 3 people, whoever watched that show that was groupies of that guy, came to my Instagram, found my Instagram, and then on my latest post, like wrote like, "Oh, this is the dude that sat in silence all the time, then talked big when you were gone," and like tagged him, and like 3 or 4 people like, yeah, and like tagged him, and I was just kind of watching this like unfold on the post, like, what the fuck? Okay, and then
random.
the dude commented back, and he was like, it was something like, "Alphas will be alphas and betas will remain silent," or something like that. I was just like, what
Jesus,
the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it is
Send the
not that
groupies
serious.
out. God. Did he ask for the podcast to be taken down? No. I don't think so. I don't remember, but I want to say no.
I think
I
there's
want to
only
say
been,
no.
like 3 people in the history of the show that have wanted their shows taken down or like
Yeah.
cut up. Jeez, Philip
Uh,
Kelly bullied Standy. That's fucked up.
Is that what I thought I just saw that comment too. I was gonna bring that up. Philip Kelly bullied me 3 years ago, so I hit away.
Wow. What
You
a
don't
dick.
get bullied. Sandy doesn't
She
get
does,
bullied.
she does the bullying now.
Yeah. That was
Bullying.
that's her origin story. That's the villain arc.
See, that's right. Villain arc right there.
Little do you know, she used to just be like sweet and positive all the time, like
Yeah,
Judy.
she probably used to be nice.
And then next thing you know, Philip Kelly pushed her to the edge.
Damn it, Philip Kelly. The hell's wrong with you?
Is it still on YouTube? Yeah, his name was like Hebler Productions, something like that.
Yeah, Hebler sounds right because I thought it sounded like Hebler.
Oh, now look, in Standy now bullies Brianna.
Full circle, dude.
Damn.
Full fucking circle.
Damn, look at that.
Crazy.
I want to show
Kelly,
down
man.
what
Everybody
Teletubbies
love
are.
everybody. Oh. I want the show pulled down. Taylor told me to bounce on 100 dicks. No, that's not happening. That was necessary for the show, okay? That needed to happen.
I think he says that almost every show, like 100 dick bounces for time or 50, whatever he says. Bernie Gaten, during Flat Earth show, Souza got all mad at us in the chat. Correct.
That is true.
Not really like mad, but just like, I don't know. It feels weird when you're the person that talks to these individuals like via text or like sometimes phone calls and like gets the whole thing set, like schedules them for the show and then brings them on, and then they could see all the live comments, and then like 20 minutes into the show everybody's just talking shit about the guest. I feel weirdly responsible for that.
100%. Like,
So
you brought them into your house and they're going to do a talk, and then you have everybody in the audience watching in your house, and then you're like, what the fuck, guys? We brought this person here for you guys to listen, not throw fucking tomatoes and rotten cabbage at the guy. Okay.
Yeah, wait the hour and a half and then we'll talk shit when he's gone. Okay.
Or 3,
but yeah,
but it's fine. Just sit there.
But so that's kind of why I always I mean, that was the only person I think I've ever done that with, where everybody got crazy in the chat and I had to get crazy back. But that was why. That's why. I don't know. I don't know. What do you want? What do you want me to do? I don't know. I don't know.
It's probably the first time I feel like they got super rowdy about somebody coming on the show. Generally, I don't think anybody's come on and been so like aggressively pushing a point of view or like been that way, you know? Because I mean, he was going after the comments just the same. Like he was going after them pretty hard.
Yeah. And that's I don't know. He just invites somebody in and then everybody shits on him. I feel responsible. Vindicate. Hey, even Sevi defended the ID doc after the show. Couldn't get past her hotness to see the crazy. That was, I think, the only person who's ever come at us hard. Actually, I think the only person that's ever asked for a show to be taken down, period. But like, she came hard. She was like, I'm gonna get a lawyer.
Wow. That was pretty wild.
You need to take it. Was so fucking weird, that whole situation with her, because there was a little bit of like some guests are really easy. You guys are going to peek behind the curtain here. So some guests are really easy. Some guests are like, Savon will be like, hey, could we get so-and-so scheduled? And I'm like, yep, no problem. And then throw out a few dates and they're pretty easy to dial in. They're like, yep, that works for me. No, it doesn't. Here's my parameters. And then we get it set. And then some people need like a lot of hand holding where you're like, hey, we're excited to have you come on the show. Here's some dates. And like, okay, well, what questions are we going to ask? Like, what are we going to go over? I typically relate that to people who are aware and like follow the show. versus who is not, right? So like typically if you do a little bit of homework, you're going to realize that we're not going to give you any topics or anything. And Sebon's just going to kind of like do his research on you. And then we're going to go through the interview. Right. But if you're not privy to the show at all, then typically you're like, sure, what's it about? Like what topics? Like, what do you want? You know, what should I prepare for? What do you want me to be ready for? And we don't give a lot of that. Like sometimes we will if they're a newer person, and I'll just give basically a general overview of what to expect. But she had kind of like a lot of hand holding. And then right after we got her scheduled and got it set up, she immediately after the show was over in the text thread started sending like all these really nice texts and was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't trusted men in a long time. Like this was a perfect interview. Like I would do it. I would do this again. Like, let me know. Like really complimented Sebon in how he made her like feel on that show. And then like whatever it was, like a week or two later, we started getting this shit from like fucking legal emails, which I don't even know if that counts, but lawyer like emails from her and her lawyer essentially being like, hey, you need to take this down. And we're like, is there a specific part? Like, is there something like we're kind of unsure? Yeah. And they were just like, nope. She realized in retrospect it didn't really fit like her brand or might turn off some of her audience, and we're just requesting that you pull it from all platforms.
That's so. Didn't she like go dark from Instagram after that too? Like she.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. What is Standy saying? No, it was like 3 days later. That's how crazy it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so bizarre.
Just weird. Bipolar much? Oh, do you think that's interesting?
Probably.
You think it just has to do with like with her?
I think she's just a nut.
The name was, I think it was like the identity doctor and then her name. But I can't remember. I can't even really remember what her name was.
Me neither. Did you see this Bryce Mitchell thing?
Oh, I didn't. I saw the clip. Yeah, let's play that. There's something interesting with kind of this weird like circulatory pattern of thought. And there's kind of this weird crosshair of the whole Israel-Gaza situation, with which a lot of people seem to be very particular about in choosing their sides. And then you have all those speeches by Hitler that were translated in AI English. Like, have you listened to any of them?
No, I don't think I have. At least not recently, no.
So the AI translated the big speeches that were done by Hitler in certain time periods, and they're all ones that you have probably like seen on the History Channel, like heard clips of or something.
Yeah.
But somebody took it and did a whole entire like AI translation to where it's done in English, but they kept all like the tonality and the inflection and the voice and everything else, so that way you could kind of listen to the speech as it was given, but in English.
Right.
And it's just a little weird because you expect it to be just fucking outlandish, like crazy stuff, because the guy was a nutcase. I mean, fucking committed genocide and, you know, tried to take over Europe and everything. And but when you listen to the speeches, you're like, oh, this is kind of throws me for a loop a little bit, because it doesn't sound as like crazy as you would have imagined it to be.
Right.
So now
you just hear the German and you're automatically like, oh fuck, he's crazy.
That's right. And then when you start to like listen to it and you're like, oh, it's kind of huddled around a lot of this nationalism, and he's kind of like trying to position himself as like the hero for the people and all this stuff. It's fucking weird. But guys like this dude, Bryce MMA, it's like scary, because then they get a hold of those speeches and they start contorting all that shit. Did you find it on that end?
No, I don't know where it went. No. I just want to find the video of him talking. But all I'm getting is Dana White making comments about it.
Yeah, it's probably flooded with that. Dana White was like, he's literally the dumbest human I've ever met.
Yes, he's like, that is the most ridiculous take I've ever heard. And he's a total, like, he even says like, hey, I'm down for like freedom of speech, but you have to be able to take the consequences of your like the shit that you say.
Yeah,
that was just crazy. He basically said, he's like, oh, I'd go fishing with Hitler. He wasn't all that bad. I'd freaking hang out with him, and I wouldn't say I would be friends with him, but I don't think he was all that bad. He just blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He tried to eradicate an entire race of people.
Yeah, dude.
Not that bad. You're an idiot.
Yeah, it was. Oh, he was just understood 6 million times as he killed all those innocent Jewish people.
Exactly.
Yeah, fucking insane, insane. But I mean, listen, when and ironically coming from me, when you have every idiot with a microphone and a platform, like shit like that is gonna happen. And I don't like. I hate when people immediately start jumping to like, this is why we need censorship. This is why. It's like, no, use your fucking discernment. And anybody who's gonna follow that moron and listen to shit like that and take it for anything more than just him being a fucking uneducated idiot, like that's on them then, dude.
Oh god, why is this so hard to find?
Oh, where was this thing by Souza? How many secret podcasts do you have outside of this show? I don't know. I wouldn't call them secret, but I do the Through the Grapevine podcast, which is a Livermore like centric podcast here in the Dry Valley with Jeremy and Savannah. And that's recorded live in studio. There's a place up the street from me here that does the name of the place is called Advanced Creative. They have like a podcast studio that people could rent in there, and they do a bunch of other cool shit. And so we go and record that. They do it a lot more than me. Maybe like once a week we record, and then we'll go on like a couple week break, and then we'll do like another season where we'll record once a week for like 9 or 10 episodes. Then we'll take like a month break, and then we keep doing that. Unfortunately, I don't make all of those. Savannah and Jeremy take a lot of them, but I do jump in when I can. And then there's this also happening. You guys. Where? Hold on. It's funny because Hiller and I were laughing about the fact that Sevon will, like, when he does the live shows, like, he's so comfortable in here, like, it'll just be moments of silence. And,
Yes. Yeah.
you're like, wait, what's happening? Oh, we got it. Okay, cool.
I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy I'd go fishing with. He fought.
Isn't that crazy, dude? Before he got on meth, I think he was a pretty good guy. I'd probably go fishing with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. I mean, I don't think we all be best friends, but before he's on meth, pretty nice. You're retarded, dude. So retarded.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow.
Lunatic.
Before he was on meth. Oh, shit.
Before he got on meth, that's freaking crazy, dude.
That's
so bad.
That's ridiculous. That dude's face on that show. Like, I didn't watch it. We just saw that one clip, but I wonder what his reaction is after that. Like, my reaction would have been like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, unpack that shit, dude.
Like, wait a minute. He's just like, this is it, dude. You're fucked. You're so fucked.
What an idiot.
He's really gone downhill after I think after quite a few fights.
He's been punched in the head a few too many times. So I don't know if this is a secret podcast, but this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be on this CrossFit training YouTube channel.
Right there. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Matt Souza, Mastering Coaching, Business Growth, and Impact in CrossFit. That's way too hefty of a title for me. That should not.
Mastering Coaching.
You know what's funny? It's like anytime I say like mastering coaching or like business growth, instantly I like got anxiety. Like right now, real time talk. Like I read that and I was like, all of a sudden I got anxiety. Like my hands got sweaty about it. Like I definitely do not want to be fucking somebody that's like, oh, this guy will do this or mastering this or it. Like, no, dude, I'm just fucking barely figuring it out. So
just want to pass along some information there.
That's it. Yeah.
This is what I've learned. I'd say I'm a master of it. Probably not.
Definitely not.
I just learned a few things that kind of worked out for me. And I'm just going to tell you about it.
That's 100% it.
Somebody sent me a DM asking some questions about like podcast stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I have no fucking idea, dude. You could just Google that probably. and I'd get a better answer than what you're getting out of me.
Dude, the amount of time people have asked me a question that they could have just copy pasted it into a Google search and literally gotten the answer is crazy.
Yeah.
It's
okay. I appreciate it. It's cool. I'll try to help you out, but probably not a very good resource.
That's it. What did someone said did you demand to be paid? Damn right. Damn right. You know how much I'm getting for this show on the 13th, Thursday the 13th at 10 a.m.? Fucking that's it, dude. Cash me out. Signed. World Fitness Project, Matt Souza. Signed.
That's right. Signed to CrossFit training.
But this should be fun. I chatted with Melanie, who's like the head of educational content, late last week, and had a good conversation with her. And she was like, "Yeah, all right, cool. Let's rock and roll." So, and that show's going to be live too. She asked if she's like, "Do you have a preference on like live or like post-recorded?" I said, "Frankly, I would like to do it live. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I know there'll be friends that'll show up in the comment section and destroy my self-confidence. So that's always a great time. Like Jeremy here, Souza's a master baiter. Damn right.
Nice, dude. Yeah, good one. Good one. Got him good.
Some input on that bad boy, huh?
Got a lot of user experience with that. You know, I am a master.
Speaking of coaching, I do want to show this real quick. And this time's up with who asked it here? Rambler, any new books? Yes. So I'm going to give you this book here. And if you're a coach or somebody who wants to be a coach, you should definitely check out this guy. A little eccentric, but the general theme is good. And here's kind of this clip I randomly found of him. So the guy at the bottom is the actual author of a book called Anatomy Trains. I don't think I have it close by me. I'll check in a second if I do. I'll show you the actual book. And he's kind of like what they call the godfather of fascia. And he moved the skeletal structure and kind of the way that was looked at from this, like, this connects to this and moves this to a structure called tensegrity, meaning we're just this whole entire bag of bones. And everything started from our mouth and our asshole, and then just grew out and around. And so, like, basically, he's saying like everything's connected, yes, to like a much larger degree. And his name's Thomas Meyer, and the book he wrote is called Anatomy Trains. And here's his clip now.
Can't escape the fascial system. The idea that muscles attach to the skeleton and move the skeleton around is a really bad, really outdated, leftover from the way that we did the body, and we should get rid of that idea of the individual muscles moving the skeleton. The actual skeleton floats in a net of fascia. This is not some new age shibboleth that we're drawing out to try to say, oh, everything's connected to everything else. Everything is connected to everything else. It's the separations that science makes, which are useful for analysis, but then if we forget the fact that it is one unitary thing, then we lose the action of the whole unpredicted by the action of the parts. So we think if we understand this part and this part and this part and this part and how it works, that we can put all those parts together and come up with human movement. Well, kinesiology, you've had 150 years at this. How's that working out for you? You can't.
Yeah, I'd strongly recommend his book, and you listen to kind of the way that they mapped the fascia, because in terms of coaching and problem solving around certain tightness or like trigger points that are occurring, or just being able to look at the system of the functional movement. So when you're watching somebody squat, when you're watching somebody hinge or lift up overhead, if you understand a little bit of the fascia piece as well, it'll help you identify limitations in mobility, but it'll more or less allow you to say, okay, why is that limitation occurring? And then what do we need to put in place to slowly work through that limitation? Or what do we need to strengthen, right? Because like when it comes to muscles, like there's only two things you're really doing. You're either lengthening them or strengthening them. And so when you look at limitations in terms of squat, hinging, or overhead press, like your functional movements, you definitely need to find a way to say, all right, why are these limitations occurring? And then what needs to be strengthened or what needs to be lengthened in order for that to be more mechanically optimal. And Jeremy, sounds like BS. Definitely not, dude. Definitely not. Please dig into some more of his stuff. And the cool thing, it sounds like Greg Glassman, if Greg Glassman talked like a weirdo, but I like it. There's a part that Greg Glassman talks about functional movement screening and this like, these physical therapists that look at everything in small sections as if they're like independent parts. And it's the same exact thing that Greg makes a claim that's happening in the medical world, where we're looking at these things as like individual problems and not part of a total like dependent system. And so Greg's claim with the whole entire pushback against the functional movement screening type shit and the normal kinesiology or physical therapy route is that why in the world would we need to do all these tests to get you back to functional movement when I could just watch you squat and work on your squat to restore your functional movement? And the only caveat to that is, in addition to what Thomas Meyer is saying here, that if you work on just the functional movement and not start splitting everything up into these, functional movement screening things and looking at them as independent parts, if you understand the fascia, then you watch somebody squat, it'll even help you get a little bit more in terms of being able to help them, because you're not splitting it into individual parts, but you're looking at it as a system. And then you understand the fascia, which will help you better understand that same system of how to fix it.
Mm.
So
That's
anyways,
that's kind of the same thing with just most medical problems or diagnoses is it's just like goes back to the whole depression thing. It's like I'm going to treat depression with whatever antidepressant medication I have. Like that's the solution. The medical society solution is to just give them a drug to solve that, but it doesn't solve the other problems. The fact that they're stagnant, the fact they're sitting around not doing anything, the fact that they're like there's no purpose in their life, or that they're I don't know, whatever problem it is that's causing the depression, because it's not just, oh, my brain isn't creating any serotonin. It's just the fact that you aren't doing anything that is creating the serotonin or whatever.
yep, exactly.
It's
So
not
it's like,
it's a holistic thing and not like it's not a singular problem.
yeah, and it also can't be like, and then therefore the singular solutions go out the window, right? Which is like, but that's the problem, because then
You
if
can't charge somebody for like the whole thing. You have to charge somebody for the dopamine, the whatever medication provides dopamine for you. It's like, okay, well, I guess if I'm going to treat the whole body, then I got to charge you for treating the whole body.
yep,
It's like you can't just. It's like, well, whereas I can itemize it and I can provide you with one medication to solve your one problem. It's like,
yep.
no, that's
And
not.
then when you look at it down that slice like that, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, see, look, your dopamine levels are low because of the stuff you told us. So here is the pill for your dopamine level. And then the point that you're making is like, well, have we addressed their sleep? Have we addressed their eating? Have we addressed how much they're moving and exercising? Have we addressed how much they're actually utilizing their brain and problem solving, right? Like as humans, I think like if we aren't problem solving or like working towards like figuring something out, then like where we feel useless. And once you start to feel useless, that definitely starts to fire up that cycle of like depression and anxiety. And then you start to isolate, which then further creates that same circle, right?
Yeah.
Jethro, what's up, dude? Are you still in LA? Good to see you, man. Is anyone here going to the games? I think so.
Probably. At least a few of us.
I would assume so. I don't know. But yeah, I highly recommend that book from Anatomy Trains is what it's called. And it definitely helped out my coaching like in the earlier days quite a bit. And the thing is too is like, and this was part of the thing we talked about in terms of what we'll be discussing on that training channel when I do the interview with CrossFit HQ, is like the more you're able to educate yourself on all that stuff. Yeah, that's it. There it goes. Damn, they got a new edition too. The one I have is the that one. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
That's it. So expensive
reviews.
book. Yeah, a lot of good reviews. I mean, it's great. And it shows you like tactilely like how to fix stuff. And if you could see all the colors across that anatomy drawing that they have at the beginning, those are the lines of fascia. Yeah. So those are all the lines of fascia. So then when you start to understand those lines of fascia and you watch people squat or do what they're going to do, you could start to see why things pull. So if you go down to the pelvis a little bit more, Caleb. Yeah. So if
The
you see
dong?
the, yeah, zoom in on the dong, please. So if you see the red lines that are crossing up by the belly button, and then you see the two yellow lines, the sartorius muscle that goes through there. If you start to see somebody squat and their pelvis starts to dip to one side or the other. So if I'm watching Caleb squat and I'm standing right behind him and I just watch the top of his pelvis and I draw an imaginary line there, and as he goes to the squat, I want to make sure that that imaginary line moves and rises at the same rate, as opposed to like one side kind of tipping more or less. And if that starts to happen, if you've read through some of this book, you could immediately go to one of your first things to address the issue would be the adductors, the yellow line coming through the sartorius muscle there, and then that red line coming up the TFL, the IT band, and then crossing over. Like, you would know to target right at that intersection where the red and yellow intersect right at the edge of that hip. And you could start your process there about reassessing why it is that the pelvis starts to drop on one side or the other during the squat. So yeah,
cool.
just kind of cool stuff like that. It gives you a little bit insight, but I highly recommend it for coaches. And the reason why too is like what I was saying earlier is once you have information like that, you could really decide to how you want to package up your expertise as a coach. And so what I mean is like, I could go into the fire department and give the whole entire speech there and make them feel like, wow, this training program is like really for me and going to help me. And then I could go into a corporation and talk to a lot of the employees that are there, and they're going to be like, wow, this protocol is really going to help me. And really, it's the same exact thing across the board. I just package it differently for the audience that I'm getting in front of. And the biggest thing that you could have in terms of your toolkit as a coach is your ability to recognize who is the person in front of me. Where do I need to meet them at in terms of their like psychological and physical capabilities? And then how do I package what I have to offer to really appeal to that person in front of me, or the group of people, or the scenario that you're talking about? And I think that the more you're able to understand how to do that really effectively, that's going to allow you to monetize your coaching in ways that you never really thought of. So that was kind of the whole spiel that we're going to be giving on the podcast there. Maybe we'll see how it goes. I don't know. She's leading the interview, not me. So I don't know. It might get weird. It might get weird.
That does sound pretty sick.
We shall see. Hey, and I already got 3 likes on that. One of them's me. So 2.
It's 3. It's the whole 3 of them.
3 likes, dog. What's up?
They're all excited. They all want it to happen. Everybody, all 3 of you,
man,
gang's all here.
The truffle's all here. We'll have our last conspiracy theory clip for the day. Not even that great. I should have got a better one. Okay, we'll just do this and we'll do a little discussion about it. Let me bring it up here. Okay, apparently this is a 1997, an Area 51 employee made probably the last phone call of his life, and we're going to listen to it now.
What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now aren't. But they're not doing anything. They are not. They want the major population centers wiped. What we're thinking of.
What the hell?
Yeah, so
is that RFK?
Is somebody who was it earlier? I think it was Bernie Gannon that was like, yeah, that clip might have been good. Oh, right here. Bernie Gannon, the weird music behind his narration doesn't help the credibility. He was talking about the anatomy trains guy, but I completely agree with that. It's like anytime there's something like that, they put that weird spooky conspiracy music behind it and everything else. I'm always just like, yeah, instantly turned off by this.
Sometimes it's good, but I realized I think you could just not put music on stuff and it would be fine.
Yeah, it'd be
We'll
much
listen to it.
still be credible.
Yeah. That's interesting. What I always watched when I was in college, I used to just like binge watch X-Files, and I was like obsessed with it forever. And so whenever I see stuff like that, I always just go back to the whole I want to believe thing. Just it'd be so fucking trippy to just, I don't know, meet an alien or something, and just like your whole universe just gets fucking thrown out the window. You don't even know, like, anything's possible at that point. Anything.
Yeah. And that's always the rationale for like why the big government conspiracy is like why they would keep it quiet, is because there's certain people, and I kind of put you and I in this category, that would like see that and be like, damn, shit's all gonna change. And we're kind of just like malleable to it. You're just like, well, let's see how it comes. And then I think other people, that happens and the reality shatters so much that like they can't keep it together anymore. And so either these people descend into like destructive chaos or use it as like a way to like do a bunch of, hey, there's going to be this big upheaval now. Or people are like, oh, my world's so shattered. Like, I'm just going to lay in the fetal position and like hope it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I watched the Chernobyl docuseries on HBO, and like one of the guys in the reactor like office or whatever, like the head supervisor, after the core exploded, he's like, that's not possible, it didn't happen, blah blah blah. And it's like everybody else is like, no dude, like it did. And he just refused to believe it and just kept sending people out to like do stuff. And he was just so aggressive. He I don't know, he just couldn't, none of his worlds did he believe that was possible. So then he just kept like ramming his head into the wall until eventually like a bunch of people ended up dying. But it's that kind of thing. Like you believe so strongly that something is not possible that you will do anything to maintain your reality in whatever you think is your reality. It's people, it's just, it fucks with people for sure.
Kind of crazy, like the power of belief. And then furthermore, to kind of round out the whole discussion of today, the power of collective belief. Right?
I don't know, man. Shit's a little weird.
It's trippy. And then I also always think that like the whole simulation theory, like it only exists because we like wish it in existence or work towards it in existence and think about it or manifest it or whatever you want to call. And so like we are kind of the perpetuators of our own destiny in that sense, even though part of us want to think that it's completely out of our control. It might be way more within our control than we believe. Chat F, Caleb, part of that was he knew his career in possible life was on the line if he was the one in charge of when that happened.
Yeah, for sure. But everybody else was telling him, everybody else knew what had happened. And he was the only one who refused to believe it. Everybody else's life and career were on the line too, dude. You're in Soviet Russia, you fuck up, you're so dead. Dude.
Yeah.
You're so dead. It doesn't even matter. None of it matters. Those guys were sentenced to hard labor for like the rest of their lives. What the
fucking nuts?
Are you kidding me? Everybody's in the same boat over there.
It also that reminds me to a lesser degree of Dr. Fauci.
Right.
Like he
maybe
kept
not
pushing,
a little lesser, but
yeah, but kept pushing that same thing, collected a bunch of belief on it, and it turned out that this dude's just a fucking absolute crook, treason at the highest level.
Yeah. Funding the labs in China. Providing funding for the labs in China to research all sorts of shit. Viruses.
It's literally like bioweapons. And you know what's crazy too, with the like, regardless of how you feel about the election or Trump being president and stuff, one thing that you cannot deny was that we had this belief that everything was was slow. Like everything moved slow, and that progress and change just doesn't come like that fast. And then all of a sudden you get somebody like Trump that's in there and just starts hammering and hacking away, and all these things happen so quickly. And it's funny to think about because I always relate it to like small business versus corporate business. Like I always make the joke to the members, like imagine if I acted how like AT&T does or PG&E. So you're like, you know, Caleb, you're like, hey Matt, like I'm moving or something. I gotta cancel my membership. And I'm like, oh great, Caleb, like please just go ahead and go through these steps here, and we're gonna call this person, and then it's gonna take us 20 days to go ahead and process that paperwork. And you're
Call
like,
this 1-800 number and go through the phone tree and
yeah. And you're like, what? No, what the fuck? Can't somebody just hit the button and hit cancel? And it's like, well, no, that's not this department. Let me go ahead and send you over to this other department. And then like all of a sudden there's all this bureaucracy and red tape. And you're like, how could nothing just get done, dude?
Right.
Like just get it done. And so I always make the joke about like if I just acted like that, like nobody would accept it because they all have the relationship with me in the gym. So they walk over and they're like, hey Matt, can you do XYZ? And I'm like, well, let's go ahead and give Albert a call, and then he's the right department for that, and he could handle that. And then, oh, and there was a mistake. Well, that's okay. I'll refund you in a gift card because you know you shouldn't. It's like
I
what?
still need that money, so you're gonna have to come pay me for something. Yeah, just
People just wouldn't accept it. But somehow, if there's this like corporation or this bureaucracy, there's this like this illusion of like stuff can't get done, and it's just other human beings at the end of that. And if you have the incentive to be like, dude, you have to get this shit done, you got to be responsive to our audience here, you got to be responsive to our customers, and we're not accepting this like slow bureaucracy. Like all of a sudden, that timeline shrinks, and shit could get done a lot faster.
What I find crazy is with all of the people that are getting deported, like they're just balling them up. So I would imagine you would know that they have an idea of where all of these people are. Like imagine how long they've been keeping tabs on these people.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to do anything about it until now. So you're telling me that, oh, just randomly within a week, we found a nightclub in Denver that had 50 illegal immigrants sitting in it. There's just no way we didn't just stumble upon that, or any of the people that we've been balling up and sending back to their countries. That's just not the case. So there's been stalling everywhere because everybody just oh, it's the government. Shit, like paperwork needs to get filed. We have to route it through all these channels, all this other bullshit. It's like, no, if you really want to get something done in the government, you 100% can do it. Look at how fast we rolled out the COVID vaccine for the military, dude. How like as soon as we got it, like everybody in the military, get it right now. Go. You have X amount of months. You got to start it today, and you can like we set up tents in shopping malls within a week, and we're just having thousands of cars drive through and getting vaccines. That's how we can do that. It's just there's so much red tape that people don't want to it's like, oh, it's not really that important to me. And oh, well, if I do that, then they don't really like that. That's not really part of the policy. So I don't think we're going to do that. Isn't that, it's just insane to me. But if you do that with a local business, they're like, yeah, I got it. No problem. Like, look at Travis. You have Travis he's like, oh, my shirt's fucked up. Okay, cool. I'll give you another. Send me that another, or you can keep it and then they'll send you another one. Whatever it is. He takes care of it so fast.
Yep. And exactly.
It matters.
And it's because you're literally like working with that individual in like, let's say like as Travis's business grows and then he's offloading a lot of that work to other people, like he would still have that same expectation for his crew. Right. So like even as the layer of bureaucracy starts to like grow a little bit, as it does with any business that starts to scale, like you could still have that thread of like urgency and responsiveness as the team grows. But I honestly think that a lot of that's put in place to make people feel like change is slow and impossible. Because if we all knew that by tomorrow we could completely flip upside down a lot of this shit and start from anew and really start to make some progress on it very quickly, that would upheaval a lot of shit that is just kind of like entrenched because, well, this is the way we did it. We've always done it this way. And I love Greg's, there's two lines that Greg always uses. And he says, well, the crazy thing is we only found the corruption isn't all over the place. We only found it in places that we looked, which was like hilarious. And then the other one is that the system is working perfectly how it's supposed to function. meaning like, hey, even though we're saying there's all these things wrong with it, it's like, yep, there is, and all those things that are wrong are wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
And then when you really see somebody like Trump come in and kick the door down and start just like moving all these things along and not accepting any excuses as to why it needs to take this length of time when it does not, all of a sudden that illusion just kind of like goes away. I mean, you saw probably when he was going back and forth with the mayor of LA, and he's like, why aren't these people allowed back in their houses? And she's like, well, we're working on it. And he's like, we've heard reports of 6 months. Like, it doesn't take that long. And then she was like, yeah, we could probably get it in a week. And all of a sudden that timeline shrunk drastically. And he was like, no, we could probably do it in a few days. Like, why can't they go back within a couple of days? And she's like, well, we don't know if it's safe. And he's like, it's safe. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
Like, it's safe. Go ahead.
You don't need the government to tell you if it's safe or not. This,
yeah.
Jeremy said, speaking of the government, no more Black History Month. Half of me is offended. Here's the thing. There is all of those things, Black History Month, women, whatever month, day, whatever the fuck it is, that whole list of things that came out that they documented. They're like, hey, we're not doing this anymore. The reason for that is because we got all of those days off. So you had like every month, I swear to God, there were like 2 or 3 Mondays a month where we just got it off because of some government holiday. And the quote unquote government holiday is something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are still those things. We just don't get the time off for it anymore. We don't need that shit. We don't need to have a day off for that. It seems so ridiculous. I always thought it was insane. I was like, I got a new day off every month. I swear. And a day would show up and be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, there's no days. We're getting a day off tomorrow. I'm like, for what? They're like, so and so day of the week. Like, when did that become a thing? So yeah, we're just for the last 4 years, we were just dishing out government days off. And then on top of that, we have training Tuesdays. So for every first Tuesday of the month, you get that day off too.
Nice.
Dude, I'm working like 50% of the month. For what? For what? That's what that's about. It's not taking it away. It's stop fucking giving us days off for no reason.
Yeah, no shit. Jamie goes, I want the whole month off February.
You can, dude. Take the whole month of February off. See what happens.
Oh my gosh. It's yeah, that type of shit is funny. Also, too, think about the weird like moral superiority that you would have to give a whole entire community of people that have contributed no less than every other human that has contributed to the United States of America, but yet somehow that gets sent down by the governmental gods as your holiday. It's
yes, the gays. Let's give everybody a day off because the gays are gay. Sick. Write it. Chalk it up. Everybody gets a day off because people are gay. Yeah.
And we, the government, support it.
That's right.
Holy shit. It's absolutely insane. We did just get this little bit of breaking news in right here sent to us, Caleb. I'm not sure what it means, but we'll pull it up. This photo contains sensitive content, which some people may find very exciting.
Okay.
And then it's clearly looks like Mayhem athlete logo. That's interesting. Weird. Oh, well, we have this. Okay.
Oh, where are we going?
I guess we're going to Europe, partnering with Team Hustle Up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what are we doing there?
So Hustle Up is bringing Mayhem Athlete to Europe, and we're going to be doing 2 seminars in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I don't know. Yeah, Barcelona. Barcelona and Paris. Paris. So we're going to be there. We're going to be there 4th, 5th, and 6th of February. And if I want to go, what I have to do?
You sign up.
Yes, you need to go to Hustle Up. You sign up, and then hopefully, if you're lucky enough,
you get randomly selected
to train with us. And after that, we're going to go to Berlin for the Coaches Congress.
Berlin.
Yes, and that's going to be the 7th, 8th, and 9th of February in Berlin.
Berlin.
Yeah. So
is there a wall there still?
I find out. Let's go for it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there.
It's been a while, yeah. But anyways, Mayhem Mat is coming to Europe, Barcelona.
We're gonna have some fun. We got the crew, a bunch of people. We got Jake, we got Josh.
We got you.
Christy.
You're going, right?
Oh, I might be there.
Yeah, I might be there too.
Hillary,
cares,
Violet, Maddie, Scott, the whole Mayhem crew. Did I leave anybody out? I got Christy, Josh,
Christy,
Jake,
Jake, us, Josh, us. Yeah. That's
So
all.
come hang out. We'll have some fun bringing mayhem to Europe.
All right, interesting.
What's Hustle Up again? What do they do?
So Hustle Up is a app that they're trying to get into the CrossFit space with. The parent company of it, B Sport, I think it was, or something like that, is a European company that basically took all of the like non-professional soccer leagues, I think, and made it into like this big conglomerate like app for all the leagues around Europe. And essentially they, it's like some billion-dollar company, and they wanted to make a another branch of that, which is Hustle Up, and then also Northern Spirit. So those two companies came out of B Sport, and they were essentially trying to come out here to make some waves in the CrossFit space. We saw them first show up last year at the games. And ironically enough, we had a conversation with the CEO of Hustle Up about putting together some sort of like go-to-market US strategy for them around content, advertising, and stuff like that for the games through Media Launch. So we learned quite a bit about it, and then it got really quiet, and they told us, like, we realized that they had just had a shitload of funding come in from Europe, like millions and millions of dollars.
Wow.
And so we're like, okay, they're probably willing to invest like into this campaign. And then something happened with the situation, and they ended up saying, hey, we're gonna like tone this back quite a bit. And then they kind of like still had their sponsorship at the games in semifinals, but it was very like quiet. Like you didn't hear like a lot about it. And then they kind of went away. And then and now it looks like they're doing some stuff with Mayhem, which is a good call for them. And yeah. So pretty interesting. Yeah. Trying to see. Oh yeah, see, there you go. Vindicate also includes Northern Spirit. Yep. Yeah. It's nuts. Cool. Well, all right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah,
got a nice little 2-hour show in today. Thanks for jumping on. I told Savannah, I was like, I could probably do it on Sunday. I was like, I don't have anything till a little bit later in the afternoon. And he was like, oh, that'd be awesome. So I was like, okay. And then never really like whatever. I keep getting this weird text, dude, from this random number, like in broken English, being like, can you talk to me with work? Is work? Like, no, leave me the fuck alone.
Spam, block it.
And then I made the show up when I got up this morning, texted you and was like, hey, dude, if you want to come on, please jump on. It'll be fun. And glad we did it.
Yeah, it was good.
So everybody else, thanks for hanging out. Stanley gave us a 7 out of 10. I will take that. That's like a Dave Portnoy pizza review. So like 7 out of 10 ain't bad.
I love over a 5 from Standy. I'll take it.
We will definitely take it. Judy, my husband started a new job. Had to go back to work before I even left the hospital. I haven't let him live that down almost 20 years. I don't know what that means.
I think maternity leave. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, got it. Okay, they're doing their own thing in the comments. Cool. Yeah. Okay. She's saying it was Brianna with the manifestation story for her. Okay. All right.
That's good. Yeah. Love a good manifestation story.
The real Matthew. All this useful information while I clean the gym and fixing handstand push-up stations. Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the fact that if anybody listens to this while they clean their gym or the gym floors is important to me, because I used to listen to all the barbell shrug stuff back in the day.
Yeah,
and, dude. Clean the floors of my gym. So that's awesome.
Hey, Matthew, you are the number 5 highest earner on Kill Taylor, by the way. You're the 5th highest earner on Kill Taylor.
Are we going to post that graphic? You made that graphic?
Yeah, I did.
That thing was sick, dude. Are we going to post it?
Yeah, we can.
I think we should. I liked it. Great job. Pat gave us an 8 out of 10. Jethro, 69 out of 10. Solid. Appreciate it. Caleb gets it. Yeah, see, he was on top of it. Pool boy, I'd masturbate to this show.
Brother.
Good deal.
There are better things to masturbate to. I'll tell you that. Have you looked at your girlfriend lately?
Oh my gosh. I'm excited to finally be coaching at my gym. Hey, that's awesome.
Oh, sick.
Congrats. Adam Souza, the Shane text might be an angel. Do you even listen to this podcast? Yeah, that's true. It might be. Earlier, Kenneth Lapt asked if I had any supernatural experiences. That'll be great for the next show. All right. TSP, this must be over the speakers while cleaning. Yeah, please. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Caleb, thanks you for always being so awesome. Best producer in the space. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Sebon will be back with his regular show. I don't think we do have a couple guests that are pending. So this calendar over this next week here will slowly fill up once he gets back home. And we got some exciting people coming on. So adios, y'all. Bye-bye.